Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Gladiator II. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros! So, Gladiator II. Well, we got to talk about Gladiator 1, obviously. So, yeah, Gladiator came out in 2000. This movie is as old as I am. Actually, this movie's a little younger than I am. It's like a few months younger than me because this came out in May and I was born in January. So I'm older than this movie. But yeah, this movie's hella old. Let's just say that. Starred Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix. It came out. It was a big hit, one of the biggest hits of 2000. I believe it won some Oscars. Yeah, it won the Best Picture Oscar, as it says here. So yeah, and everyone remembers this movie for Russell Crowe being like, "Are you not entertained?" Like that whole scene. It's one of the great movie lines. And Gladiator, you think, okay, that's just a standalone movie. There's no reason to make another one. It'd be silly to make another one. And here we are. Ridley Scott just decided, you know what? I'm gonna make Gladiator 2, and I was just like, why though? But forget what I think because he did it anyway. And here we are. So yeah, this movie has brand recognition on its side, has a highly acclaimed predecessor on its side. So yeah, Gladiator and its reputation, I will label that as a pro. Another pro is Mr. Sir Ridley Scott. Let's talk about him. If I can press it. Press his name right. There we go. So Ridley Scott, I've talked about this dude quite a few times on this channel. So he's been around for a long time. He's 86, damn. Still making movies, that's impressive. But yeah, he's been around for a very long time. He's made a lot of movies, a good amount of them being movies that were successful or highly acclaimed. Alien, Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise to an extent. G.I. Jane, not really. Gladiator, obviously. Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, American Gangster. Robin Hood did okay-ish. Prometheus did well financially. I mean, critically, well, it's kind of well, depends on who you talk to, I guess. The Martian, that's his biggest hit ever, domestically and worldwide. Made over 600 million, one of the big hits of 2015, and a really great movie to boot. Nothing in recent memories. I mean, House of Gucci, considering when it came out, it could have done worse. Napoleon is hard to really look at because it was an Apple movie. So it really wasn't about box office, at least at the time. They didn't care. But yeah, I can't really comment on Napoleon's box office. Even though realistically it looks like a total failure, but it gets confusing with that one. But yeah, Ridley Scott, he's made some well-known, iconic movies. Granted, he's made some bombs too, and I'll go over those later. But yeah, Ridley Scott's name, I would label his name as a pro. So that's pro number 2. Pro number 3, let's look at our cast here. So we got our main guy, Paul Bissell. I forgot, what has he been in? I don't remember all of his strangers. So he hasn't been in anything like big, really. But I see Mr. Pedro Pascal, the guy no one can escape from because this man is fucking everywhere now. Literally, like, for like a few years ago, he was just like a guy, and now he's just all over the place. Getting all the friggin' roles. I mean, on TV, he's The Mandalorian, then he's Joel in The Last of Us, then movies. He's Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. a movie that's super underrated, I should add. And then you got Wonder Woman 1984. He was probably one of the only all right parts of that movie because that movie fucking sucked ass. um, he voiced in Wild Robot as a Fink the Fox, so it was just his voice, not his face. But yeah, Pedro Pascal, everyone knows who he is now. But with him, there's kind of the danger of overexposure. But I don't think it'll be that bad. It's not like he's the main character or anything. He's just a primary character. But I guess I can mention, it's Connie Nelson. Has she been, not Pedro, get off the screen. I already talked about you. And not to mention, dude's going to be Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four First Steps movie next year. So there's that too. Connie Nelson, has she been anything super important? Oh god, 1984. Not again. For twice, I have to talk about Wonder Woman 1984. That's a movie I never want to think about ever again. Like, shit. Oh, wait. Hold on. This hippo. This is Wonder Woman's mother. She might be Wonder Woman's. I might be wrong. I will look it up to be sure because I don't want to get my facts wrong. So I gotta do this off screen real quick, as quickly as I can. My computer decides to cooperate with me. One blah blah blah. Cast, give it to me. Yes, it is Wonder Woman's mother. Okay, I was right. But she didn't have like a big role in those movies because it was mainly about Diana. And there's Gladiator. She's reprising her role 24 years later. Okay. Mission to Mars. What is that? I don't think anyone remembers that thing. We had nothing really else. Nothing of a serious note besides some of these, the Wonder Woman movies. And then we have like easily the biggest name in this cast, the big draw of this cast, Mr. Denzel Washington. I mean, there's not much to really say about him. I mean, he has a hell of a legacy, to say the least. I mean, the first movie here people would, really recognize was Malcolm X, where he portrayed one Malcolm X. I think he won the Oscar for that. I'm not sure. I know he won the Oscar for Training Day. I know that. Yes. Oh wait, he was just nominated. He didn't win. Okay. Okay. But yeah, Malcolm X is a very well-known movie. Look, it really like people look at Denzel Washington and be like, this guy is fucking talented, dude. Then after that, there's Pelican Belief, there's Philadelphia, there's Courage Under Fire, Bone Collector. I think that did okay. And then Remember the Titans. Everyone knows that movie. It's probably one of the more popular sports movies out there. Training Day, that's where he won his Oscar. There's John Q. There's Man on Fire. There's Manchurian Candidate. I don't think that did too well. Inside Man, I think did fine. Yeah, that did pretty good. Deja Vu, I think did fine. American Gangster. So we got a Ridley Scott, connection going on. Is that? I remember Great Debaters, but didn't do that well financially. There's Book of Eli, Unstoppable, Safe House, Flight, Two Guns, Equalizer, Magnificent Seven did okay-ish. Fences did fine. Equalizer 2 did good. Little Things I'm going to give a pass to because that was part of the infamous HBO Max experiment, not to mention when it released. Nobody was going to the theater, so yeah. And then Equalizer 3. But yeah, in a lot of these movies, Denzel Washington is the draw. He's like the main name, and he's able to sell movie tickets. He can. I mean, Flight is one of, I think it was Robert Zemeckis' like last successful movie, and it really wasn't because of him. It's because of Denzel. Okay, so Denzel has some drawing power, something very few actors like have these days. Usually, the draw is the movie itself or the brand, not the actor. So, yeah, having Denzel in Gladiator II, is huge for that movie. Make people pay a little more attention to it. So yeah, having Denzel part of the cast, I will label that as an absolute pro. Um, let's see, another pro is the fact reviews are fine. 72%. That's good enough. It's not terrible or anything. Audience score is a little more worrying. It's 84%, which isn't like the worst. A B cinema score that concerns me a bit. Granted, it's not like Joker 2 with its D. Okay, it's nothing like that, but that worries me a bit because obviously this is going after a mature audience, so that B worries me a bit. That tells me people aren't really falling in love with this thing like they were with Gladiator 1. Actually, I'm curious, what did Gladiator 1 have? Okay, that had an A, so that's a whole letter down. This is a whole letter down from the original. So yeah, reviews are fine. Word of mouth is like borderline so. So yeah, I'd say it's reviews. I'll label that as a pro. Another pro is the fact that this movie opened early last week overseas, had a solid debut. So I'd say that's like usually a good omen for a movie. So I'll label that as a pro. Another pro is the fact that this is going up against Wicked. Normally I would say this is a bad thing, but we have a bit of an Oppenheimer situation, Barbenheimer situation going on where you have two big movies going after different demographics. One movie is more female centric, another movie is more male centric. So they're able to, coexist alongside each other without killing each other. Like that's what you want ideally. That's what happened with Barbie and Oppenheimer. Both movies, despite being very different, they're able to thrive together and become a big old phenomenon. And well, the same thing isn't really happening with Wicked and Gladiator 2. It's still going to be a hell of a good weekend, judging by early numbers. So yeah, being with Wicked, I say the two movies are low key. Well, Wicked is low key benefiting Gladiator 2, kind of like what happened with Barbie and Oppenheimer, where Barbie kind of raised Oppenheimer's stock when it comes to like how moviegoers. I felt the same thing's happening here to a lesser extent. So I say the whole Glicked strategy, releasing this and Wicked at the same time, I say that's a pro. I think that's well. I guess I can mention Thursday previews. 6.5 million. That's not bad. It's not like incredible, but it's not a terrible number, especially considering like the time of the year. I don't know what I can really compare this to. I guess like Beetlejuice, although the gap between like sequels is a little more extreme with that. Plus, that had like a lot more hype surrounding it. But I guess we could talk about Beetlejuice. Okay, that Thursday preview like 13 million. That was like 100 million. No one was expecting 100 million for Gladiator 2. That's a little ridiculous. Let's see, there's Twisters. I guess that would be decently. I guess I can compare it to that. That also had like a big old like gap between, its predecessor. Twisters. That's 10.7. Keep in mind this came out in summer. Gladiator 2 is coming out in November, so going to Thursday previews is a little bit harder in comparison. But yeah, Twisters earlier this year opened by 81 million. But I just remember Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's like another. It's like an action centric flick. So let's compare it to that. How did that do? This was like beginning of summer. 6.6 million, so about the same level. And it opened with 58 million. So yeah, so being on par with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is projected to hit like the 50, 60 million range for like a second place opening. That's pretty damn good. You don't see that happen too often, a second place movie performing that well, especially when it's like opening against another much bigger movie. So yeah, I'd say Thursday previews are pretty good, especially considering like the older demographic this movie has. Okay, cons. I mentioned word of mouth could be real iffy. This is looking real so-so, borderline so-so. So that could affect it like over the coming weeks. But next week is Thanksgiving, but you also have Moana 2. And you have all these movies, these big movies going after each other. This will be like the least this will make the least amount of money compared to the three. So yeah, I do think Moana 2 might hurt both this and Wicked 2, just a little bit. At least opening day. At least hurt it a little bit. So I guess Moana 2's presence next weekend, that'll be a bit of a con. And I don't know if there's any other serious cons with this. I guess for a while I questioned this movie's entire existence. I'm thinking, would anyone give a shit? Apparently enough people do give a shit. So, what do I know? So, I really can't think of anything else or anything too serious. I guess December's going to be a headache. It's going to be a lot of movies coming out. Some Paramount movies coming out, I should add. Sonic 3 is going to be their big holiday movie. So they might, at that point, they'll just give away, whatever screens they have Gladiator 2 at that point, they'll just give to Sonic 3. So that could be an issue. But yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend, from early numbers, it says it'll hit like 60 million, 61 million, which would be the biggest ever for both Ridley Scott and Denzel Washington. So yeah, that's pretty good, pretty great for them. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna have a wide range, 55 to 65 million opening weekend, and then its legs, its total depends on what happens next week. That'll determine this movie's ultimate fate. But I think it should at least have okay-ish legs. I don't see this dropping off the face of the earth like a Joker 2. Okay, I don't see that happening. Word of mouth's not that bad. So I'm gonna say between 150 and 200 million. I think that's decent enough. And yeah, that's it. Now, one more movie to talk about this weekend: the second half of Glicked, Wicked. The big movie of the weekend, and then we're done for the weekend. So yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. You want to watch any of those videos, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I talked about Gladiator 2 one time. It was episode 175 where I was very confused as to why the movie even existed. So, yeah, that was the one time I talked about Gladiator 2. So if you want to watch that video or any other cancel episodes I've made, want to binge them all, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. November recap, that will be between the 6th and the 13th of December. Talking about November is going to be real interesting because it's going to start out so damn sad. And then it's just going to increasingly get better and better and better. So at least it's not wholly negative like it was with October, so that's nice. So Yeah, stay tuned for that video. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos of Man on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.